Okay. Hi, Ben. It's John. jmfurgason. Basically, I have one thing to say about the album. I agree. I mean, looking back, I am not a big all-time Low fan, but they do remind me a lot about Fall Out Boy, but at the same time, they also remind me of a lot of contemporary pop artists who are very safe with their music, almost a move along style of All American Rejects. I know that comparison is probably going to hurt me in the long run, but that's how I kind of see it, as seeing that I'm biased towards not listening to their music all too much. And I looked at some of their auto-tune songs and I figured out, uh, well, as far as I remember, rock is something that you actually sing. And for 45 years, rock has always been singing, pure vocalization. Autotune was probably used in the more electronic genres, but I can't see that for this band. They're kind of giving in to the popular music trend, which, in the definition of popular culture, to me at least, as I agree with Nash, popular culture stands in opposite to high culture. Whereas high culture is structured and has a sense of value, popular culture is meh on it. So, but even so, though, they shouldn't be so conformist, and I know it's probably not their fault. It was more than likely the record company because, let's face it, with all the pirating going on, it's almost as if, they're losing money, or they pretty much are. Excuse me. And the recession isn't helping much either. However, on a side note, I still believe that they could have done a lot better for the album. I listened to some of the songs that you also recommended towards the end of your video, and I like the Paper Moon one the best. But I liked actually all the ones. Once I have a personal favorite, I have to delve deep into it more. However, I believe that the very best thing I can compare this album to, and how you start the album, because the beginning song of the album is upbeat, but it doesn't go anywhere. You're right. The beginning song is just, it has lyrics, but it doesn't really introduce anything to the album. Like when Gorillaz has their album, they have an entire storyline set up, and it makes it grand. And in the end, Noodle is missing after Demon Days, and you know their self-titled album launches their career. And also, Good Charlotte's Chronicles of Life and Death, to me, when they first had their title track put on the first song, which is probably a smart move to do on both the band and the records company's parts, but the Chronicles of Life and Death had like this um, medical equipment just beep, 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 and then you hear a baby crying, and then the pounding of the drums, and then you hear the lyrics, and then in the end it flatlines or something, I think. In the life version, that's the album I had, but that's the way to start an album. You start it with the pretense of your ideology of the album. With um dirty work, I was expecting a little grungier, a little more, not like Kings of Leon or Nickelback, more like Rise Against. Their guitar sticks out more, or and their drums, or Avenged Sevenfold. I know that's probably a completely different genre, but when they have their style, their guitar exemplifies who they are band wise, and most of their albums reflect their ideals. Like the one song, I forget the album A Little Piece of Heaven is from, but it shows their ideology of what the album is about. at one point, and that's why the song was made famous. I don't know if it was at the beginning or not, but whatever. Back to Good Charlotte. Their ideology was, the chronicles of life and death, and just going out through reflecting life in different situations, SOS, and just a bunch of songs. But regardless, back to All Time Low. I didn't think they did a good job of it. I would probably raise that score of a 2.5 to a 3, mainly because all those tracks you mentioned could equal out into a almost a playlist on their own, not really so much as a full album, but there's enough tracks there to actually get you into the band. And I don't know too much about music. I know about the basics. I don't play any instruments, but from what I've heard, it's almost too conformist. Now, I know that sounds very hipsterish of saying, "Oh, it's too mainstream." Well, yeah, but no, I'm not gonna listen to it just because it's not mainstream. I listen to it for the fact that there's a lot of music out there that should be listened to and given a chance. I believe that this band has a lot of potential, like you said, and I'm pretty sure that they can keep going with what they're doing and get better in the record company. And I know I don't know too much about whether Hopeless got them started or not, but it sounds like it did. But anyway, regardless of my ranting and comparisons and analyzation, I believe that this band in this generation is more conforming to a certain demographic, um, the Californian way. But popular culture for people our age and a little lower are all over the place, all over America. Tennessee, Michigan, California, Florida, New York. These cultures are radically different than the next. So I think their music shouldn't be that vague and be very, very bland, but I think it shouldn't appeal to, you know, preps or the, popular kids' music, I guess, rather than popular music. It should be just popular music, which should be popular with everyone, not the popular kids. I know a lot of this um, video response was very, very disoriented, but I think all in all is that once you get down to it, All Time Low's dirty work isn't really that dirty. In fact, it's just something of a label to get you to buy it. And if you like it, the people who were, kind of defending the album on the comments section, I'm not saying the music's bad. I just don't like it. Where Ben and I are both entitled to our opinions. We just like the older stuff, like older Linkin Park or um, Green Day overall or something like that. It shouldn't really be a case of conflict whether or not we have to fight over what song is better or what band is better, or the fact that I don't like it, so that makes me a bad person automatically, or it makes me an idiot just because I don't see them the way you do. But that's your choice if you want to think that way. I'm just trying to be open minded and have an open analysis about it. But there are plenty of other bands I like, and Ben, this is not to you, this is to the people who are defending the album, if they are to lash out at me. I believe that, in general, this album will be something of, hopefully, they learn from it. Whether or not this album gets the good reviews or the bad reviews in the long run, or mixed reviews, hopefully they can learn from their decision that they made with this album and come up with something quote unquote better, or for the fans, more, I guess, something to more where they wouldn't expect, but redefine themselves yet again, like a band should evolve with every generation of records that they put out. And in all honesty, if they want to keep going, I hope this has gone platinum. I haven't really looked into statistics, but I really hope it goes platinum because they have a lot of potential. And if they go platinum at the very least, that way they get more exposure, go on tour, and they can just get everything they want as far as, you know, better record deals, probably backup band members, um, different sounds to experiment with, collaborations with other bands, going on tour with veterans, opening for veterans, more say, or even my personal um, opinion, my favorite, if I were a rock star in this case, um, just the popularity, you know? If they can get themselves out there, and I encourage that this album does well at the very least. I know it's a little bit disappointing for some, but if this album does well and they get their tour bigger than it's usually been, which I really hope it does, they get more exposure and everything else, the popularity will immense, and that'll encourage them to change their sound a bit even again and redefine themselves as a band. So that's my thoughts on All Time Low's Dirty Work. I will see you later.